Oh, what the fuck? Hello? Oh, I think we're working. Let's see. Yes, it's working. Okay, my God, I'm terrible. Shake my head. SMH. Okay, well, that was terrible. Okay. Like I was trying to say, I was late to click and go live. I did put my microphone on. Okay. All right, so I'm sorry. Since we last, well, okay, I did Ashida stuff last time, but I have since, off stream, I actually took all the parts for the bug tendo, and I had another open tendo board that I've had for a long time, and I bought all the remaining components that I needed. So the bug tendo, this is the bug tendo, nasty yellow thing, case. But all the guts of the bug tendo and the lava RGB board I took from, it was installed in my original NES that had the my like NES RGB 2.0 or something. So now that's all in here, and I don't want to say that that's the, well, also you'll notice that I cut a hole, right, for the Genesis 2 port. Okay, so it's pretty easy to do if you've just got plastic. If you just have a file, you can do it pretty easily. You don't really need any special tools. So this, I hate to say that this is kind of the end right now, but it kind of is, of the Lava RGB. I had a talk with, or well, not a talk, it was more like they direct messaged me. Retro Castle mentioned that they think the noise could be coming from, so we're talking about the noise that was in the back of like the solid colors in the video, which that's really, well, other than the fact that, you know, IGR doesn't work, and I hooked up the button or the controller wires, and I can't seem to understand how to change the palette as well, so I'm not sure about that. So palette, I can't figure out how palette selection works. IGR doesn't work because it's the NES, the front-loading NES is what? It's how the reset circuit works is inverse of the Famicom. And then there's noise in the background of the picture. So those three things are kind of like what the state of the Lava RGB from Retro Castle, right? So I don't know if they, you know, maybe I'll message them again and just say, hey, I'm still having noise even though I've hooked up. They mentioned to me that the data line needs to be hooked up to either ground or 5 volts or something. And then they said that would get rid of the noise. I don't know. I hooked it up to the controller line. I don't know if that is ground or 3 volts or something, but that, you know, that's how it should be wired up for IGR. So, okay, I don't know. We will have to come back to that, but at least it's together and it's working for the most part, so that's good. Other things that I've got, Bonzo of Bonzo's Retro.shop, I think, sent me some interesting stuff that we have to do at another time. So I have a SD2 SP2 Pro 2.0. So this takes Extrem's updated version that has the little IC or whatever that makes the increases the transfer speed of the SD card. So we'll have to test this on in the future. So this is a version Silver Steel, I guess. There's some Twitter handles here. So Citrus 3000 PSI is Dan, Mr. Add-ons. Not sure why they're on here, but hey, Extrems is the one who made the 2.0 fix, and then Silver Steel, which is maybe the person who designed this. So this will come in the future, a future stream. So that's kind of neat. Then the other thing I got is this ETH2 GC, which is the memory card slot, and it has this other Ethernet module thing. Right, so it's basically a memory card. If you, like these things together, I don't exactly know how it goes together, but these things kind of go together somehow. I don't know. Let's just throw them together like this for now. And then you could use Ethernet. I'm not sure if this allows for network streaming of games, but I think it at least allows you to connect to. There's this like community of people that play LAN games using the Ethernet online. So it's kind of like what was that thing for the original Xbox? There was that service back in the day where you could join LAN games but online. So anyways, that's that. I don't think I have anything else. We're gonna dive pretty well. Under 10 minutes is not bad of past unfinished business. So. Okay, so we're going to talk Ashida today, and this is probably a much more impressive, hopefully, much more interesting, I guess I should say, update for the Ashida than the one that we did last week. Is that for 10 base T networks? I guess so. Yeah, maybe 100. I don't know much about this particular thing. Anyways, that's for another stream, but that's cool. So I have to 3D print a case for that too. Okay, so the RVL-DD it's called. So let's just go to the overhead. The RVL-DD it's this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain this the best I can without having to take stuff apart yet. When you build an Ashida, okay, if you see this brown/tan, whatever, gold colored flex cable, when you order the IPS screen for the Ashida, it actually has this flex cable already attached to it, I believe, something like that. And then this connects to a driver board. So pretty much any screen has a driver board, which kind of translates a signal, an input signal, VGA or something, or whatever, to the pixels on the screen. So in the past, the driver board on here did have some, abilities, right? So you can you can center the picture, change the aspect ratio, turn the brightness up and down and stuff. If you followed my tutorial, you can't do any of that stuff because I didn't wire up a button. There's other methods of wiring up the Ashida where you either use the Z button or some people, I think actually newer versions of the case, they have a hole that exposes this button. It's maybe you could use this button for controlling the screen or something. I'm not really sure. But there's really no way for me to control the screen. Which is probably my primary issue, other than the fact that you can't charge and play at the same time. So that's could be fixed with Thunder what is it called? Thunder. Ah! Don't drop side cutters on your feet. Thunder, whatever, that mod, that undervolting mod. Thundervolt. So, oh, what happened? Uh-oh. Did my something, oh, I switched to the microscope somehow. That's weird. Okay, sorry. So, there was, way back when, even when I built this, like shortly after I built my Ashida, Wesk or somebody was saying that there was going to be this direct drive board that was going to fix that problem. Not fix it, but like allow you to be able to control the screen through software. And by software, I mean RVL-Loader, which is the main software. Like when you build an Ashida, you have to run, you software mod it first, and then you install this RVL-Loader, which is basically a skin or like a, I don't know, like a dashboard, let's call it, right? So this dashboard is sort of running, that lets you sort of use a Wii, but with a GameCube controller. Okay, so that's kind of the primary way to use the Ashida. So, I'm just waiting to see if it reboots into RVL-Loader. I don't know what's happening right now. This is sort of weird. That would be funny if something was wrong with the video right now. It was just working. I don't know what happened. Just gonna turn it off and on again and see what happens. Well, anyways, we have to, before we do anything, we need to update RVL-Loader. What is happening? That's interesting. Is there maybe something wrong with the SD card? Huh. Well, this might be a very short stream. No, well, so what we have to do is we have to update RVLoader before we do anything. Before we even do this, because there is an update to RVLoader that has... Okay, so I guess you're probably asking what the hell is RVL-DD. Okay, so there was this rumored direct drive board that was supposed to come out like a year ago, or a while ago. And I guess there were some floating around. I don't know why it's black screen. That's really strange. That's kind of scaring me. It's possible that it's the SD card in the PMS3. Why did you break it? I didn't mean to. So the RVL-DD is basically a replacement direct drive, a replacement driver board for the driver board for the IPS screen. Okay, so that giant green board down here gets replaced by this little guy, and this is an FPGA. Does the screen sit at blue when it goes on and no signal? No, it turned to black. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. Maybe that's a USB thing, an issue with my PMS PD3. Didn't really test it much, I guess. That's annoying. I'd be annoyed if I have to undo the RVL-DD, or PMS PD3, I mean. Okay, so anyways, let's see what happens when we plug this into the computer, because we need to, the way that we need to update, there's other features, by the way, of the RVL-DD. I'm not going to get into them yet. I just want to update our stuff here first. It's kind of order of operations. It's not worth getting into the details until we get RVL working or updated. Hopefully it's easy to do. So what's interesting about the Ashida is you should be able to just turn it off, I suppose. So we'll turn it off. And I have just a USB-C port connected to the computer. And it should act like a USB port if... Oh, see, it's there. That's interesting. I wonder if it needs a new RVL version of RVL. So the PMS PD3 is installed, and I'm able to get... Hold on, I'm just trying to get everything squared away here. Let's show the window. Okay, so this is what shows up when it does show up as a USB, so that's expected, right? So it actually gives you access. If the Ashida is off, it gives you access to the files on the SD card, Okay, so that's really cool. So what we need to do is we need to go to there's no like good instructions yet, but I'm in the 4-layer Discord, and Aurelio, who is the person that designed the direct drive board, mentions that there's an update to RVL, so I'm just going to pull that up. Somewhere. Shoot. Sheet. Oh, is it maybe under our electronic support? No. Sorry, oh, here we go. Okay, so Aurelia posted that there is an update for RVLoader, which is what RVL stands for, by the way. It wouldn't be hey, you take that back. Okay, so we need to download this. I'm guessing if we go to just the RVLoader, there's a new release. Yeah, 2 days ago. Okay, so let's download the zip. I think all we have to do is copy and paste this zip onto the flash drive or the SD card via the USB cable. We don't have to like physically untake the SD card out because it's kind of buried at the moment inside of the Ashida. Okay, so all this stuff, games, what's in games? It's empty. Okay, so I'm guessing this just has all of our stuff and we can just merge anything. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take the Ashida folder, the RVL folder, and we copy stuff like this, just like that. That's scary, but send it. I guess we replace everything. Okay, send it. Okay, well, all right. Now we're gonna see. We're gonna turn it back on again. Turn the Ashida back on. Blows up. That'd be funny. Maybe there was an update to RVLoader that was required for the PMS PD3. Okay. Okay, so we have RVL 2.1. Good. Sorry, there was a glare. I don't know. So I still can't get to what, GameCube games? Oh, maybe it's because I did home. Does home not do anything? Okay, maybe it's not busted. Does the home shortcut not do anything? Oh, you know what? I know why. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Okay, so the problem is not the wiring or anything. The problem is I was trying to go to home, and home is actually going to try to reboot the Wii into the stock dashboard, which is not possible on my Wii because, one, I don't have the MX chip installed, and two, I don't have the Bluetooth module installed. So you need, I think both of those things are required for you to be able to boot the stock Wii dashboard. So that's the problem. Maybe maybe, I'm hoping. Okay, so problem solved. I'm sorry, I was going to the wrong thing. I was like, why aren't games showing up here? But it's because I was going to home and not. So home is not what you want to do. Okay, great. All right, so we're done with the Ashida. We can turn it off and begin this journey. Now, let's talk about some other features, I suppose. While I'm taking this apart, we'll talk about some of the other things that. Let me just get the right. Ouch! I poked myself. Talk some of the other features of the RVLoader, and some of them I don't, or RVL-DD. Sorry. Some of them I don't really have a ton of evidence for, or like, I mean, I know they are true, I'm guessing, right? The biggest one is that the direct drive board is, like, the way that we're going to wire up the direct drive board actually bypasses the Wii's stock video encoder. I guess that's the AVE, right? I think. So we're actually getting digital output from the Wii GPU itself. Those are those test points that we solder individual magnet wires to when we build our Ashida. Well, maybe there's other ones too. I'm not really sure, like additional ones that we couldn't really take advantage of. So we're soldering directly to those, and then those are going directly to the direct drive board, and we won't need to solder, or basically we can remove the wires that we soldered to the VGA lines. So you're basically simplifying the Ashida install with the direct drive board. So that's kind of the biggest. So not only are you simplifying it, but supposedly you're getting better video output, which I probably should. I mean, I'm not really going to be able to do a before and after very easily, right? Because I don't have two Ashidas. So I guess we're just going to have to take their word that it's going to be better output. But apparently, there might be some noise added by the AV encoder. I suppose that's true, right? Because it's digital. It's a digital to analog back to digital situation, versus this is technically like a digital to digital solution. Okay, so we need to get in this bad boy. So that's the major thing. Is actually this is kind of an upgrade to the visual quality of the output of the Ashida. Let's go to the actual 4-layer tech page. There's another thing that they mentioned. I guess possibly a small decrease in power consumption, right? So that's a win, because it draws less power than the stock LCD driver board. Does it have HDMI output? No, it doesn't have HDMI output. Not this version, at least. Maybe someday in the future somebody might make one that has both HDMI and the screen, but right now it doesn't. But the other big one for me is one that I already talked about, which is being able to control the aspect ratio. Okay. So I understand that most people looking at this they probably don't have an Ashida, or maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not sure what the over-under is on people that have or don't have Ashidas. The wires to the right here. Right here. So this is actually the stock driver board up here. Okay. The wires here and sort of underneath this controller board, so like underneath there, are the VGA lines. So they go to, and I didn't have a green wire, so the yellow is green, but RG, which is yellow, and B, and then the horizontal and vertical sync, which attached to, is this the AVE chip, I'm guessing, right? Anyway, so the horizontal and vertical comes from that. We'll be able to remove those, I'm pretty sure. We could look at the documentation, I guess, before we get started. But before we even do that, we have to do a little bit more soldering. So I don't even know why I kind of took this apart. Another thing to mention is there is an updated. Well, I'm not sure if it's posted anywhere, but Wesk made an updated bracket thing. If you look back here, well, no, you can't see that. If you look up here, this black piece is actually 3D printed as well. Obviously the case is 3D printed too, but this black piece here is a bracket that gets screwed into the Ashida shell, but it separates the back of the IPS screen, which is just metal. It prevents that from shorting the driver board out. So this driver board, which once we remove it, right, we're gonna swap it for this other bracket. So there is an updated bracket that I think you might need. So basically the direct drive board goes like something like that. That new one. Okay. So that's for the future us to think about. I think before we do anything, let's look at the documentation. I know it's just going to be a little bit of like wiring. I don't really think there's anything for us to update, or like nothing to flash yet. I think that's what we just flashed, the RVL-Loader update. So basically what we've got to do, so here's all the pinouts, but we really don't care that much because we have the version of the kit that includes the snazzy Ashida Flex, okay? So the Ashida Flex actually is going to take care of all this wiring for us. And all we'll have to do is actually physically install it. I guess, right? The flex. Well, you know what? Actually, maybe not. Maybe there is some other wiring we have to do. So this is, by the way, this stream is going to be going, this is going to be most definitely a two-parter, I think. Unfortunately, I'm going to do the best that I can, but now I'm seeing that there are actually other pins that we'll need to take care of. SDW, SCW, WS. Actually, oh, okay. So this makes getting those a little easier, maybe. I don't know. Basically, I'm winging this, right? I'm really winging this because I don't think anyone else has done this mod yet, or at least made any information about it, other than the wiring diagrams here. So I think let's take a look at the parts that we've got. So you got the actual. Where the hell is it? Where's the freaking? Oh, here it is. So we've got this, and there's these castellated parts right on the edge over here, but then we've got there's actually two. They gave me two. So there's this flex cable that kind of gets this. The DD gets soldered on top of the direct drive board. Gets soldered on top of that. So that's the kind of. I think that's where we should start, I guess. But then you see at the other end, so there's a lot of little tiny vias. Okay, so that's what we actually soldered to on the Ashida. Like all these, there's a ton of wires in this vicinity here. Okay, but then you notice that there's other parts here. I think that means we're probably gonna have to fill in some blanks, of like connect to some other wires on the trimmed Wii board. So I'm I know this kind of seems like I'm all over the place, and it's truthfully, it's because I am. But we're going to try it. So where do we start? Do we start with the flex? I think that's what we do because I think Gunner, someone mentioned that they had a little bit of difficulty installing it themselves because the flex cable kept getting bridges between two pads. So I think we have to figure that out first. Oh God, I lost the Z button. Well, okay. Put my Z button over. Okay, so this goes aside. See you later. Sorry, my pad is gross. I normally try to clean that, but so included with the kit is actually this 3D printed piece. Okay, this gets included with the direct drive sort of installation for the Ashida. And what is that piece, you might ask? That piece is this is a jig for soldering the direct drive board to the flex. So let's bust out one of these flex cables. Okay, take one of those, put this one aside. And we have to position the flex in this jig so you can kind of see that there's a notch on this side, like this part here is flex cable shaped. Then the other parts, so like there's 4 pegs here, here, here. I'm amazed that there are not more flex PCBs. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. We're gonna. The problem is flex cables are hard to make, hard to create. So, okay. So then it goes on top like that, and so that basically keeps the flex lined up with the direct drive board while you solder it. Which I don't, I wasn't ever really scared of soldering something to a flex cable before, but that kind of is like, I don't know, makes things that make you go, So I'm turning off the air conditioning, rip my room temperature. I'm going to get my iron ready. I think that I want to try, I don't know. I definitely know that I want my good flux, or at least the Amtech flux. I say good because I think actually there's a better Amtech flux out there. Amtech 559 or something, V2. I have the 213, so I think in the future, when I say better, I just mean this flux, the 213, I think is thinner, right? So that means it blows away more easily with like hot air and something. For this particular case, I don't think it really matters. I think that this is the 213 is fine, but so what we need to do is basically try to solder these and then make sure that they don't bridge underneath between the PCBs. So I don't know how easy or hard that is to do, but we're gonna find out. So basically what that means is I'm gonna solder it and then I need to test the points, all the pads next to each other to make sure that they don't have any bridges. So I'm just gonna send some of this flux in here, right? Like, I don't know. Put some there. Actually, I want to do the other, this too. Okay. I don't know. Do we want to bust out the microscope? Is that even helpful for this? Maybe. Oh God. Didn't think this through. Oh God. Yeah, I suppose we should use the microscope to get better enhancements. Okay, sorry, I'm just rejiggering stuff here on my table. Microscope, go! I'm not thrilled with the video output. Oh, I have to change my overhead light and turn the light on. Boop. Hello. I'm not thrilled with the quality of the camera that I bought for my scope. It does some vignetting. Do you see how there's like black around the outside edge? It's like, I don't know, bothers me. Okay, well, anyways, doesn't really matter for this. But let's focus it. All right, so I've tweaked the flex cable, so I gotta untweak it. Okay, good. Okay, can you add stream mod on that Joe? Oh, can you do a stream mod on that Joe Ostender consoleized Game Boy that uses the NES RetroPie case and the NES Mini style controller? The Joe Ostender consoleized Game Boy that uses the NES RetroPie. Is it an NES? Wow, that's a lot of words. Yeah, that sounds cool. Let me, before I forget, I'm just gonna pull up a tab and type that in. Joe Ostender consoleized. Is it just like a DMG Game Boy? Consoleized Game Boy. Dang, is this a new project? Newish project? 3 weeks ago. It was last updated 3 weeks ago. Wow, it is a DMG. Oh my gosh, it's this thing. That is actually an amazing use of this case. Here, I'm just gonna... That is an amazing use of this thing. Look at this. So this is a consoleized DMG, I guess. This is a modified version of Andy West's project from Element 14 Presents Game Guy, the Unportable Game Boy. Interesting. I definitely can see there's a lot of noise in the background, so maybe this is not like a must-do, but we're going to check it out. It'd be cool if we could check it out. So it uses the RetroPie thing, and it has the little NES Classic thing in the front. Oh man, and you could just shove in things here. I wonder how much of this you have to actually modify. It's cool. I like it. It's neat. Cool. All right. That's cool. Yeah, sure. I'll keep that up. And Super Game Boy. Oh, it's a Super Game Boy? Neat. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Okay. All right, let's turn down that. Okay, so let's get some solder on these things here. I'm just gonna get some solder. Ooh, maybe I got like hold down. This is kind of interesting. I don't have a lot of solder, so maybe I need some more solder. Basically what I'm trying to do first of all is make sure that it's like lined up right. Like I don't want to. Okay, so my iron's at 350. I'm not sure exactly how much like solder to use. This is like sort of a weird thing. It's like imagine it's like a giant flex cable, right? Because it's like a thick, chunky. Like that looks fine, right? Is that not enough? I don't know. Hard to tell. I guess it looks fine, right? I don't really want to load these up, right? I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do the next one. Actually, you know what I should do? I should do this side. So usually when I try to do a flex cable or, you know, something that's very positional, you want to do like one on one end and then like another pin on like the opposite end. That way, if you do have a little bit of, you know, it shouldn't really move after that, if that makes sense, right? It should be pretty good. Okay. Don't really know. Okay, let's zoom in and see. I mean, I guess it's got, you know, it's fine. It's making connections, and I just don't know how easy or hard it is to like bridge these connections. All right, so let's start over here. I'm gonna just go pretty slow. I'm not gonna like rush this. There's no reason to rush this, right? No reason. What do you have it on top of? Maybe it's not getting hot enough. Just the plastic, honestly, which is not great, but yeah. I didn't really use that much solder either, which could be causing some of these issues. But all right, I'm just gonna add more flex as we go here. All right, let's do the next one. This really does feel like soldering a giant flex cable. It's like hard to describe. Okay, so once I do this row, I want to check for bridges just to see what we're kind of dealing with here. Oops. Should probably wipe the tip of my iron off too. A bunch of crusties coming off of it. Uh-oh. Oh God. Okay. That is a little bit of bridging going on. I think actually it might have just been a fact of too much solder. Now, see how these look better than all the other ones. I wonder if I'm not using enough solder. Okay, well, maybe I should add a little more. Just a tiny bit. Oh, gosh. Okay, so these look better, except for that one there in the middle. Okay. All right, I want to test now continuity between all of these, just to make sure there's no, because I think Gunnar mentioned that they could easily bridge underneath. So we do that. Just getting my pokey probes. Where's my other pokey probe? Hello, pokey probe. Oh, it's there. Got it. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so we're in continuity. So let's test. Okay, continuity works. Okay. Just trying to test the beep, just if I hear the beep. I mean, that looks fine. I mean, this is not a super challenging thing, I think, but let's go over to this other side here and finish it off. Just clean the tip a little bit. Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, that looks fine. And let's test these now for continuity. Yeah, I mean, seems fine. Nice. All right, let's clean it off. We can switch back to the overhead. I think we're done with. Actually, no, we're gonna need the microscope in a minute. But I'm just gonna. It's gonna be just over here, and I'm gonna clean it off the flux. It's not bad. I didn't think that was that bad. If you've ever done a flex cable, like any of the gem mods or any of the Pixel FX's older flex cable, flex cable mods, then this should be no problem. And I think it helps to use good flux too, like get some of the Amtech. Well, yeah, get some Amtech flux. All right, so now maybe the problem is going to be getting it out of this little holster. Maybe not. Okay, let's see. Ugh, goopy. Cool. All right, so let me just wipe this off. It's not just a goopy mess everywhere. If you were curious, I think it actually did melt some of the 3D print here. That's right. Actually, what does the underside look like? Oh, well, actually, you know what? Maybe we should try to clean the underside as well. It's kind of goopy. But that's just the solder or the flux. It's not like harmful. And it doesn't look like any of the 3D print melted on there or anything. Okay, so here's this. Right, it's pretty good. Not super clean. I mean, I'm not going to spend 1,000 hours trying to clean it all off, but you can if you want to. It's kind of got flux everywhere. Okay. Now, what the heck is next? See, I'm worried now that there's all these other pads. Are these just test points? I wish that there were more instructions. All right, so let's go back to the instructions. Huh. Actually, you know what's interesting is I think this, oh, sorry, you guys weren't seeing the instructions. So there's a little note here that says connect M to 3.3 volts to enable 480p. That's called the mode butt thing, right? And that's actually kind of a pain in the butt to do with a tiny wire. I mean, yeah, I'll bust out the microscope in a second and you guys can see what I'm talking about, but it's actually much easier on the direct drive board because you could just bridge. There's pads here. Oh, you know what? Where's M? Is M broken out here? MC? Is MC the same as M? This very bottom one says MC. Is that the same as M? You know, we can actually probe it and find out. If that's the case, then all you have to do is bridge this MC pad with 3.3 volts over there. So I think the only thing that we can't get to, looking at the instructions here, if I look at this little cluster of vias down here, I know it's kind of annoying to see. Can I make it a little bit bigger maybe? It's like pretty small here. I'll zoom in when I look at the when we look under the microscope and you can see how small these really are. It looks like this right side here of the DD all correlates to all these pads in here. And then you get a couple of pads here. So I think we're gonna have to wire in 1.8 volts, 3.3 volts and ground from the, those get wired as well. Ooh, where's one? What do I get 1.8 volts from? So let me just explain what I'm talking about. Okay, so if we look at the original drive board, okay, so you see this green wire and this black wire. So that's ground from. It comes over. It snakes over from the GC 2.0, which is the GameCube controller emulator on the Ashida. Okay, but it is getting that signal, that voltage signal from the very bottom of the Ashida. You can see it's getting that green and the black from the PMS board underneath, way underneath. which actually I've been told that I should upgrade the wiring that I'm using, the size of the wiring. You know what I have to do before I do anything else? I need to unplug the batteries. Okay, so I need to start, we're going to start kind of getting into installing the flex cable now, which actually I probably should, yeah, I probably should do that before I install the actual board into the Ashida. Okay, but before I do any of that, I need to unplug these batteries. So let's get out of, I could turn my air conditioner back on for a minute. Crank that bad boy. Okay, let's do this, 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 I don't really think I need to lift it up right now. I'm not going to be addressing that. Somebody mentioned that I last time I had my Ashida part, sometimes it turn off if I touch the USB cord to the rim of the USB port. And somebody mentioned, both in the comments and actually I think Gunnar mentioned it too, or Wesk did, that's a grounding issue and the grounds need to be up thicker. So that's something I have to do eventually, but that probably was not going to be now. But that would also involve taking out the Ashida board, or taking out the Wii trim. And yeah. All right, so let's take these batteries out. Put them over here. Okay. Just gunk is falling in here and I gotta just clean it out. Okay. Right. What we have to do now is, you know what, I probably should screw it back down for stability's sake. Okay, I'm gonna do that, I think. I'm gonna screw the Wii trim back in, so that's not wiggling all over the place. That might give me a little more stability when I'm soldering the flex cable. Okay, neat. All right, now I gotta think. Gotta do some thinking. I think the first thing that we want to do is probably, but what's weird is, where do these, okay, so let's zoom in and let's take a look at what the heck I'm talking about. And where are these points on the Ashida? I need to zoom in, and otherwise it's not gonna make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense right now because I don't understand something. You'll see in a minute. Okay, so let's get the scope. Oh, hello, microscope. You know what I should do? I need to see if I can flag down somebody. I've got to flag somebody down. Nope. Nope. Okay, so we'll see if somebody comes. What the heck am I talking about? Okay, so if you zoom into this spot, we can zoom for a minute, but then we'll have to zoom in. Actually, now we'll probably get to see how terrible my soldering job was here. Okay. So this spot on the Ashida here, this is actually that zoomed in area that we saw in that picture on the right. So let's see here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. This the right box here is what I'm looking at right here. I'm in my microscope. Okay. The problem with this, like I'm not understanding what to do, because if we follow these wires, so all these wires are somewhat. Let's see. Some of them are. Some of them are video signals, so I'm not actually soldering to all of them, right? So, for example, let me get a small poker. If I point to, like, so here is what they call V0. If I have the, I guess I could pull the guide up at the same. Let me do that. That'll be easy. So let me do new window capture. Oh no, not window capture. New display capture. Okay. Then if I take the display capture and I hold Alt, okay. So chuck this guy. Oh gosh. Put this guy over here. Okay. So if we look at this diagram, okay. V0 is here. Okay, so this is V0 on this diagram. Then if we skip one, V1 is here. Okay. V2 is here. V4 is here. V3. Right, so but you can, oh, maybe actually it might be one down, one further down. But as you can see, most of my wires are actually soldered down here. Okay, not actually let me zoom in. Does that mean I have to have some combination of both the direct drive board and these wires? Because when I look at if I look at the flex cable, it kind of doesn't really well, I guess it does. Oh, I get it. Actually, you know what? I'm dumb. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more challenging. I understand now what I need to do. All right, so this is, I'm sorry. I'm I'm really taking my time because I don't want to dive into this and be like, I don't know what I did wrong. Right? I'm really trying to mentally oh, you can also see I was talking about mode, right? So mode, see this wire here. This little guy right here is the mode to this capacitor is 3 volts, right? So that enables, oh gosh, I actually just ripped the wire off the, that's fine. All right, now no time like the present, right? And I gotta dive in and I'm gonna do 2 things at once, right? So I'm gonna remove all of those wires from this end of the Ashida, okay? I have to remove all of the wires in this area, I think. I'm pretty sure, okay? Then I need to remove all of the VGA lines. I actually did accidentally rip one off just now. So that's fine. I'm getting ahead of myself because those go to the driver board. I guess let me talk about that first. Okay, so to the right here. Actually, let me pull this over here. I know this is like the most uncoordinated stream ever. Oh gosh, did this somehow reset? Camlink, what are you doing? My Camlink is misbehaving. Camlink. Why you do this? Why you do this? Okay, it's rebehaving now. Great. Okay, so I told you, I said a little while ago, all these sets of wires over here, these thicker ones over here, okay, so these are like 34 gauge, this is 30 gauge wire. These are all going to the old driver board under here. Okay, so those are all going. They're all getting disconnected from here. Actually, let's do that first. So I'm going to go back into the camera, or the microscope, and let's disconnect those wires. And I actually ripped one, so you'll see in a second. So see this red one here that's dangling? This is the one that I just ripped. That gets soldered directly to the AVE chip. I think this is the AVE. Oh yeah, it says on there AVE. It's super gross and dirty, but they literally get soldered onto these right onto the chip. So let's zoom in more. And ugh, that looks nasty, huh? Let's clean it up. I don't know what happened to that spot. All right, let's get some Amtech on the situation. Just gonna desolder that wire, but I also want to like clean up that area. So there's no solder on my iron. Ouch. Okay, see you later. All right, I'm just gonna do this. Okay. Those look fine. There's just some goop on the thing now. You really have to be kind of careful because there are some other wires that we're not going to get rid of. So like right below this is where the USB cable gets installed. So this cable down here, which is nasty, it looks nasty. Man, this is like a terrible mod to show on a microscope. Because everything looks nasty. But that's fine. We'll clean it up. Like I said, I'm taking my time with this. This is probably going to be a two-parter. Somebody got mad at my Flippy Boot video because they said it only took them half an hour to install, or it would take them only half an hour to install Flippy Boot, but it took me 2 hours. But like, it's not like I'm not just installing the Flippy Boot in half an hour or in 2 hours. I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking I don't know. It's craziness. Okay. I probably should touch up these USB wires here. Not sure it's the mod's fault. No, it's definitely not the mod's fault that it's flexy. But I'll just say that this mod kind of drove me kind of crazy. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay to go a little crazy and not, I don't know. Not like actually crazy, and not like I have anything against crazy people. It's just, you know, want to make sure people are understanding that I'm fine. Okay, so I'm actually going to touch up that bottom wire, which is ironic because I'm probably going to put some flux on it. So if you're curious, this is where that USB wire goes to. Ugh. Little piece of cotton looks nasty. Okay, well, not amazing. I would like to put some more solder on that point, but at the very least, it's okay. That's actually better. Okay, good. All right. Cool, fine. That's not what I wanted to do, but all right. Did this before you got your microscope? Yeah, I did. Did for sure, yes. All right, let's clean this up. And for the most part, I don't really use it like right now. I mean, I'm only positioning it on the camera just so that I can, or as a camera, so that I can show you better what I'm doing. I'm not really using it. I mean, obviously, I'm freaking using a toothbrush. It's not, I'm not soldering. When I was just soldering, then I was using it, but I hope you know what I mean. Like, I don't use it all the time. Like right now, because I'm gonna scrape this gunk. It's still like, it kind of freaks me out a little bit using a scope. And I must have ADHD or something because I have like clean all the things. Well, I guess I'm more of a perfectionist than I really talk about, but for the sake of getting a video done, I kind of can put up with myself and just move on to the next thing. But if this was me, or if I was doing this for somebody else, like if I was not streaming it for anybody else, whatever, or if this is somebody else's Ashida that I was building, yeah, I would take more time, I think, than I do on the streams to clean things. And okay, so that part's fine, good enough, not amazing, but all right. So let's rotate over here. Now this fluxy mess, this pad here is actually, I think, where this is where composite video comes from, where you get composite video when you test it. Okay, so there's a point, I think, right there. So let's clean this up as well. Oh gosh, I got IPA on the Ashida resin. I don't know if that's great or not. You know what, I need a duller, my blunter tweezers. That would be better for these scrapey jobs. Are they out already? They're probably out already. Oh, they are. Oh, shit. Okay. So somewhere in here, under all this gunk, is that composite via. Or no, maybe it's this. Maybe this is composite right here. That. One of these, one or the other. It might be one might be ground, one might be composite, something like that. That's what you use to test the Ashida after you trim it. Well, or I guess you could full send to the end if you are a mad lad, but you probably should test it. Okay. Don't get IPA on the LCD. Yeah. Well, I think it's actually just going in the battery trays, which is fine. Well, I hope it's fine. I don't really know how the resin will react. Okay, I can actually get rid of this for now. If it's hurting your enjoyment of me cleaning the... Gosh. I guess I lost the capacitor there too. You see how I am missing this one here? Oh, never mind. I think that's another test point. That's another place that you can get composite video, I believe. Is that? What is that? Is that just flux? Or is it like... I don't know. I hope that's not bad. Okay, I think it was just flux. Okay. Sorry. Tangent. Okay, so we're moving up to these other wires here. Okay, so this must be the red signal. So we can get rid of the red signal. Ugh, get out of here, cable. Oh, I forgot that my air conditioner is on. Okay, that's the ground. The white wires for these bundles are always the ground for each signal. Okay. I probably should turn my air conditioner off, but that's right, send it. All right, so let's just go right through and get rid of all the colors right away. And then I can come and clean up. I'm so happy that these are gone because these are the most frustrating cables. To like make sure that they're on there good. Let's see. Okay. All right, last but not least is blue. Okay, good enough. Cool. All right, so that's all the VGA wires. See you later. So I want to clean them up. Over here. I think the this scratchy knife was, or scratchy tweezer was working better. Yeah. Okay. This. Okay. Making progress, sort of. By progress, I mean undoing stuff. Guess I'll shove this paper towel in there. Probably should have done that all along. What is that black piece there? Oh, it's gone. No, it's not. What is that? Like a hair? Ugh. The heck? Okay, how are we looking? I think things are mostly clean now. Okay, good. All right, now let's rotate to the area down here. Okay. Now I think, now this isn't necessarily explained in the instructions. Like I feel like there just needs to be a little bit more detail. I think what happens is we need to, oh, you know what? Oh, I've absolutely screwed the alignment up. Oh, there we go. We need to solder all of these. Basically, there's more pads than the ones that are highlighted here that we're going to solder to. Okay, I think actually all of the gray wires are what we get soldered, what we solder to. Then, no, just kidding. There's some extra ones on here. I think that most of the wires that are here, I have to desolder, and then I have to solder again on top of the flex cable. Some of them, but for now, I think I'm just gonna get rid of all of the ones that you see here. I guess. Okay, let's try it. This is less scary than it sounds, because if you follow these wires here to where they actually go, right? So they go, all of them go down underneath the board under here to the PMS. Okay. If you follow them down there, the other end of the PMS is labeled with what they are, right? So if you really are like, oh man, what the heck was this? I don't remember. You can follow it down there and figure it out that way. That's just, don't be afraid of messing around with things up here, I suppose. Okay, let's move the USB out of the way. All right, so first I guess we'll undo the mode. I guess I should have a little bit of flux, but I don't really think I need it that much, just for desoldering these wires. Okay, let's start with the mode wire here to the 3 volts here. See you later. I'm not going to be able to tell you what all these wires are because I don't know. Don't remember. Actually, maybe that's a bad thing. All right, you know what I'm going to do actually? Sugar. All right, let me do... Is there a way for me to copy? Oh, there is, I guess. So let's do this. I'm trying a thing. Sorry. Okay, so... This is the wiring that we were just looking at, but this is on the documentation of the DD. Now, what I think I could do is I go back to 4-layer tech, then I go to the PMS2. I think it's the PMS2. Actually, where did some of these go to? Oh, some of those are for the audio? Okay, the audio, really? See figure 3. Okay, I swear that I'm actually doing something. Where's figure 3? Figure 3. That's not helpful. SC and SCW and SDW are there, but where are the rest of them? Which instruction manual has the... Maybe the Ashida PCB set. Ah, yes. This? I think this is what I'm thinking of. Okay, it is, for sure. Okay. So it's tough to kind of... Let me see. Can I duplicate this? Copy. Paste as a reference. Can I actually independently move these around? Hell yeah. You know, this must be like chaotic for you guys to look at. Sorry. Okay, so this diagram is from the Ashida board PCB documentation on the 4-layer tech site. So this is actually inverted. Okay, so this is actually the angle that we're able to see things. So the bottom row of wires here, so it kind of completes the rest of the picture. So on the right diagram is the diagram of the from some wires that we have to solder. The top diagram now, I guess, or the bottom diagram is wires that we have to solder to the flex cable. But those are mainly video wires. You notice the V1, V0, V2, whatever. However, there are other wires that we solder the flex cable to, including the bottom 4. I basically, in my mind, I actually do kind of visualize the bottom grid. See all the little vias in a grid? I can actually tell where that is on the board. So that's like here. That's here on this board, okay? So what I would like to do, God, this is gonna be impossible. What I should do is keep track of these wires here. So like, if I remove this wire, I should solder it to the flex cable now, okay? This wire here is what? The WS wire, okay? Now if we take a look at the flex cable, WS pad is here. So this WS pad is the same as this WS via down here. You understand? It's like if I use my multimeter, those would be the same. So now, basically what you're doing is you're moving the wires from here, right, from the V to these pads on the flex cable here. So it makes it way easier to solder after you've installed the flex cable. But since I've already installed the wires, I need to kind of like, you know, like I want to keep them on the on the flex cable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tin all of the pads on the flex cable. Not the little tiny vias, but all of the ancillary pads. And you guys can't really, well, actually, I'll try my best to show you on the other camera. Boop. So you see all the ancillary pads, so some on both sides. So I am going to go ahead and tin them all. Okay? So what we're going to do. Okay, so we can always touch that up as we go along. That's fine. But now, what I want to do is take this guy, go back over to our microscope, And it's going to kind of live for the time being. It's going to chill. It's going to chill over here. And what I'm going to do is wire by wire. I know this is really annoying for you guys watching the stream. I'm going to move the wires from their position. So this is like if you're upgrading your current Ashida. I'm going to move the wires from their spots here to the pads that they correspond to on the side, on the right side over here. Okay? That's the goal. Might be impossible to see everything all in the same shot, but I'll do my best to like make it visible. Okay, so let's start with the very first wire. The bottom right wire. So that's why I kind of pulled up both sets of documentation. Okay. So the very bottom right wire here is that WS wire. That's an audio wire, I believe. So let's see. Take it. Desolder it. Okay, see you later. Now this is the WS wire, I think. Yes, okay. Now WS is going to get soldered to our guy over here, our whatever thing, flex cable here, onto the WS pad there. See that WS pad? So take our WS wire, and we very well may end up shortening these eventually. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll just do it with my finger. Okay, so let's get some liquid flux. Ugh, gross. Okay, well, that joint was terrible. Okay, I think that's better. Good enough for now. Okay, so that's step one. So we're just gonna keep going one wire at a time. And they're literally gonna hang out there until we replace them all, or we move them all over. Okay, so the next one over is D. D's nuts. Sorry. So let's take D, which is the next wire over here. Okay. Shoop. Okay, D. Now let's find D over here. D is this, it's the shiny one that you guys can't really see because there's a glare. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, let's try to massage these here. Okay, get D position. This doesn't even look like it's tinned or stripped. Look at how little of a connection I had to D. That's crazy. But hey, it was enough to work, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna touch that up again. I think I want to put some more solder on that. Okay, great. Cool. All right, D is done. Nice. Sorry, I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see what the hell I'm doing, but basically down D is soldered there. All right, moving along. Next is what? Next is MC, which is the next. Oh no, where's MC? Oh, MC is at the very bottom there. Okay. MC is at the very bottom of the, right there. Okay. Oh, so I think then maybe then mode is still needs to get soldered on top of the flex cable because I don't see M broken out, so that's fine. Okay. MC is next. Let's get this guy unsoldered. Oh. Didn't some people say that MC should get, oh, it says in the picture. Let's flip it over a minute. If you experience audio glitches, it may be required to shield MC wire by using shielded wire or tightly twisting MC and ground wires together. So what I did on mine, so MC is this one here, and you can see that it's actually twisted together. Well, you might not be able to see, but it is twisted. This one, not that one, that's USB. This one here, okay? So then the ground wire goes all the way down. Not that wire. Ground wire goes all the way down and visits the ground via the screw via here down there. So I do not want to mess that up. However, there is a ground wire, a ground pad on our nice new thing. So maybe that's what, that's a good thing, right? So this ground is right here. I don't think it's telling us to solder a ground wire here because there's one on the other end. I think it's telling us to use MC and ground together here at the bottom. So that's good. Nice. I'm glad to see that. They're doing that. Okay, so let's get rid of MC, or let's grab MC. Actually, you know what? Then let's grab its ground wire first. So go all the way down to this ground here. Ground wire. We'll see you later. Maybe not. Get out of there. Okay, good. Great. I'm very tempted to clean up that solder. All right, avoid temptation because I don't want to mess with that. Okay. So let's follow it back up to its little cousin here, which is the other MC wire. I don't know how easily you guys can tell because I have the luxury of the stereoscopic vision of the microscope. Okay, now you guys can tell. See, it's got its ground buddy with it, okay? So MC guy is gonna get, you know what? I think I'm happy to leave MC for a moment because we know it's the one that's twisted together, okay? So I will be soldering that in place, but not right now. Okay, so we know that this is MC and it's getting scooted over there. Ugh, I can't get it out of the way. Okay. All right, so now we're on to the last wire on the bottom. Sorry, here, let me flip it over. So it's C. You can see in the diagram it's C. So let's flip this over. This is the far left one from this orientation, okay? So let's take C off. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, there aren't any video lines there are no video lines soldered to this part. That's correct? Is that correct? All the video lines are coming from VGA. That is interesting. Okay, so I've got this last one was C. So let's get our, which is actually above mode, or sorry, MC. Okay, I'm trying not to cover up DI and CK. Did I just say DI-CK out loud? Like, unironically? That's funny. Deek! Oh gosh, this little bugger. Ouch. Don't burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. Okay, that's terrible. Solder joint. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, neat. All right, we can always touch those ones up at the end. Okay, so what do we have left? We did all the ground wires, all the audio wires, I'm sorry. Let's take a mini break and clean it, I guess. You know, I can get my scrapers in. I don't know. I don't remember what this is for, but I think we're gonna find out. Is that a solder blob right here? Oh my god, it is. Look at that. That's weird. Might be easier to hold the... Okay, hi G-Man. I don't know if you saw my frantic post, but I think I figured it out. Yeah, it was easier. It's kind of easier for me to solder, like keep things flat if I use my fingers. So yeah, you're right. I think I kind of figured it out. So I'm just now understanding how the flex cable works. So I'm just kind of right now I'm just cleaning actually, but I was transplanting some of the wires from this area here. I'm just kind of understanding how the DD works. So like all of the video lines of these pads down here that you don't really ever wire to with the normal Ashida because it gets video right from the VGA, I think. So, but we still need like the audio wires and things. So those still go. So this is it's kind of like a little mini breakout. So the audio wires at the bottom of the flex cable, and they get broken out on the sides of the pads up here. I think the DI-CK here we get from somewhere else, I think, maybe, but we'll worry about that after. What are these last ones here? So I know this is mode. We can remove mode, which is the far This guy here, not that one. Ah, this one. This guy will have to come back, but I think it's actually on the flex cable. Okay. Okay. See you later. Or see you for now, I guess. We can always, we're going to need that thing, I think, for mode. All right, but what are these last two? Are those on the new one? Oh, they are. SCL and SDA. Oh, I see. There are these. SDW and SCW match SDA and SCL, right? I recommend tinting all of the vias connect to flex before attaching the flex. Yeah, that makes sense. What I think I'll do is after I remove all these wires here, I'm going to use, I'm probably not going to do it tonight. I'm not sure. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I'm going to use some solder braid just to kind of remove it so they're all kind of flat, but then I think you're right. I think I want to hit every point, all these points up here with, at least tin them. Being careful not to scratch any of the surrounding traces with tweezers, for example, might lead to a short. Oh, okay. Yeah, so what I was doing is probably not a great idea. Yes, I understand. So I'm going to clean that too. I'm going to remove these last two wires first, and then I'm going to see what there is to see. Okay, so which one is which? Okay, so the next one up is SCL, but I think that goes to SCW on the flex. So let's take it off. And then we scoot. Ah. What did I say this was? Is SCL? Ah. Bumped my camera. So that goes to SCW. Okay. Now that I look at these under my microscope, I see how little how little wire I have exposed. That's crazy how this Ashida worked in the first place. Yeah, not holding it with your finger kind of hurts, or holding it with your finger kind of hurts, but ouch. Okay, let's add a little more flux to that, or solder. SCL equals SCW, SDA equals SDW. Sorry about the naming convention. SCW is serial clock we. SDW is serial. Frick, I can't. The stupid heart is in the way. Serial DAC. I'm gonna guess. Oh, serial data. Yep. Neat. Oh, that's the I squared C bus or whatever it is, right? On the Wii or something. So I know it communicates with the PMS board. I think something like that. Oh God, this is awful. Oh God, I ruined it. Okay, nice. Okay, last wire from our old wiring here is SDA. See you later. Ah. Wait a minute. Just kind of straightening it out. Okay. Okay, well, don't love that. Don't love that. Ah. Okay, that's a little better. Neato. All right, not perfect, but it's fine. We can touch this up later. Okay. So we have to remember that we do still need to solder MC and its ground. So that for me, that's floating up here. Okay, so he's just hanging out. I'm just gonna wait. I guess there's no real reason to wait. I don't know. It might be a little bit easier at the end to do it. But in the meantime, let's clean up this gross mess. So I'm going to take some wick. And I'm just going to try to get, I need to do one of these. Try to get some of the, just kind of lightly like that. Just, I don't know. Probably doesn't need to, but I just want things to be flat. I think that we'll find once we actually put the flex cable and line it up, it might be easier than I'm thinking it might be. But I think G-Man has a good idea of tinning all of the wires that are on the flex here first before we even go there. So, but before we do that, well, does it even make sense to clean it before I do that? No, not really, huh? Okay. So I'm gonna attempt that. Don't know how that's gonna go. What I did when I first did this is I mean, most of these look fine. Most of these look like they're gonna take solder, but I did a little bit of this just to kind of scrape if there's any solder mask. And I'm looking at the guide, the picture that is on the bottom of my screen on the left. Okay, so any of the wires that have white, I'm gonna scrape the mask off. Not super crazy, right? Like I think G-Man even said, you don't want to cut any of the traces or anything. But the solder is gonna have a much better time if the sticking if the mask is not there. Okay. That's one. Or another one, I guess. So I want to do this whole, row, but I think it was already, this whole row looks like it was already soldered on. Some revisions of the Wii are more exposed, like they have the, like I didn't have this problem when I did my AVE HDMI, the HDMI mod. I think the vias were more exposed. Maybe not, actually. Maybe I remember doing this. All right, so let's move up to the next row. Looks like we have to do all 3 vias in the next row. I'm just using an X-Acto knife, by the way. I'm not using anything fancy. See, X-Acto. I think you have a lot more control with this than you would like a fiberglass pen. But I don't know, I'm not an expert. Okay, making progress. Okay, so that's that row. Well, now we need to do the one above it. And then a couple of other, so like we need to do this next whole row and then like that one and then that one. And then we can tin them. I prefer the X-Acto blade too. I hear the fiberglass pens are a popular choice. They're probably a little bit less abrasive, maybe. I would just be worried, like you said, you don't want to uncover the mask on like everywhere. I feel like if somebody could blast it with a fiberglass pen and like take all the solder mask off, then what? You'd have to get in there with you'd have to add your own UV solder mask. That's funny. I guess I should demonstrate a before and after of not scratching versus not scratching. Like, I think this is a pretty essential step to soldering to these. So like I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to solder to, I probably should also use a smaller tip, but just for ha-has. I'm gonna move the flex cable out of the way too, actually, so I don't solder it. Ugh, gosh, it's kind of annoying now. Okay, anyways. So like I'm gonna try to solder to this via up here, which hasn't been scraped yet. Okay, so this one right here. Okay, well, I guess it is actually kind of working. Do you see how little solder there is in it? I guess you guys can't see because there's not much solder there. See, if I turn down the camera, you can see how little solder there actually is. Okay, versus if I try to solder the one directly below it that I just scraped the solder mask off of. Well, actually, you know what? I gotta clean the tip of my iron. Okay, so I want to tin that, right? Well, that is funny how it's like not cooperating at the moment. Okay, let's try that one. Okay, so it's easier. So I'm trying to say it's easier. And you get a bigger pad, okay? Okay, that's what I was trying to say. All right, so let's scrape this guy. Oh, I always forget that G-Man is gunner, I think. Ha. It's funny. Okay, then this is the last one, I think, over here. This was annoying. Okay, neat. All right, so should I try a smaller tip? I guess I should try, huh? Okay, so I don't know why I didn't have this before, but I have a tip that's actually half the diameter. It's a chisel tip still, so it's still a chisel shape, but it's half a millimeter chisel tip. I may have to turn my heat up, but we'll see. All right, so Operation tin all these pads. Okay. Ah! There's also a ground via on the flex shown in the diagram. Yeah, are you talking about for MC? So is this the ground for MC? Oh, it's shown on the diagram. So I see it here, but is that coming from the direct drive board? Direct drive PCB? Or is it on the diagram somewhere else? Okay, so let's continue with with this. So I'm kind of tinning. Well, actually, I don't think I should have tinned that one. Oh no. Okay, I'm looking at the flex now. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, G-Man. I see it now. So this via. Oh wait, so I missed one then. So I missed this one on the top left. I should have looked at the flex and not the. And then there's this one way over here. So that's where ground is coming from. So that's useful for MC, I'm assuming. It connects ground. Oh, I see. So I need that. Okay, I understand. Okay, so let's find that. So it's on which row? So it's like between the third and the fourth row, which is kind of weird. So let's count rows here. Okay, so this is row 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one. Cool. So that one needs to get some solder. Okay, I think I might have missed, just judging by the flex cable, I think I might have missed that one. So I have to hit that one with the, and here's the 3, audio ones down here. So I have to do that one there, the one in the second row. I guess it's fine. Should be fine. When I started the flex, I did it just like how you were doing it. I didn't use any wick after. I didn't have any issues with it not being totally flat against the Wii, as you saw it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right, well, I think then I want to clean it first. And then I guess we can give it a, oh, it's already 11. Okay, well, I'm just going to clean this, and then next stream, I'm going to solder the flex. And then I have to remember to attach MC and ground. And I think there's still DI and CK I need to attach to the flex down here, and 3 volts from somewhere. Or should we do it tonight? I don't know. Well, all right, let's send it. While I have it here, and I have, I don't know. I'm not going to start it tonight, so it's not like I'll be able to debug anything, but, oh, I missed one. I missed this top right one, the top left one. Sorry. Sort of worried about that one, but I don't know. Should be okay. I also see that I might have potential for bridging here. Oh, yeah, you guys can't see shit. So I sort of see that some of these some of the solder mask is wearing away right here. So I hope that doesn't cause any issues. I don't think it will, but I'll just have to be careful, I guess. All right, I guess I'm just gonna send it. I don't see. Let me just make sure that I have all the. I have all of the pads tinned. Yeah, I guess so. All right, here goes nothing. This kind of gets lined up here. We should kind of be able to see really everything, right? Those up there. Something you want to avoid, but it should be okay. Okay. All right, let's get out the. Oh, you guys can't really see what the hell I'm doing. I'm trying to line up everything. I hope you guys can see. I can actually go in. Okay, so we're lining things up. Yep, do diagonal corners first. True. Just want to make sure that it all looks visually aligned before I commit to anything. Okay, so I'm going to put some, this is probably terrible, but it's for you guys to see, I mean, not what I'm doing. I'm going to put a little bit of that flux down. Get my iron. Okay. All right, so one's tacked. Let's go and do this bottom one here. Just gonna add a little more flux. The flux kind of makes it hard to see, but it is going to be helpful. So, but what we could do is if you just put your iron not on a pad, but just like into the goop, it begins to melt it a bit, and I can see what you're doing. I'm also going to use probably my dull tweezers. Okay, so I think we're good to just start. Well, maybe I've messed up already. That one doesn't seem like I have enough solder on it, maybe? Some of these look good. Some of these don't look good. Okay, so far so good. Not many left. Let's do the ground pad over here. Okay, so I think I might be able to get back in some of these places that don't look so good, like that one. Well, I guess it looked better after I heated it up. I guess it looks fine. Like this one looks fine. Maybe I'd add a little bit more solder to that one. Okay, so just these couple here, I'm just gonna touch a solder. It is easy with a microscope. Well, it's not super easy, but I mean it's night and day, I would say. Plus, you have to know that this is a half millimeter tip, which is twice as small as it's 50% of what the Hako FX888D comes with. That's like a 1.2 millimeter, I think. Plus, my iron is the 200 watt Aisin T3A, so that gives a lot of power for the smaller tip. So I don't know. All right, I guess we probably could add a little bit more solder to some of these if we really wanted to shine it up. It still has the flux on it, so might as well. You got to make sure that you clean off the tip once in a while too. You don't want to like, you know what, actually let me get rid of these too. I think we're done right now for the instructions. You gotta make sure that when you get a ball of solder on your iron like this, you know, you got to get rid of that so it doesn't mess up your other wires. Ah. Yeah, I mean, that looks good, right? Let's get it off and see it. And then we can call it a night. And then next week, or Wednesday, we'll have to finish... We'll have to finish what? DI and CK, find out where those come from at 3.3 volts. And finish wiring MC. If the flex is fairly flush to the vias underneath, you should get a nice round. Yep. Nice. All right, let's clean these. Nice. I need to get a new toothbrush. This one's nasty. But I guess before we wrap up, I wanted to say this is, you know, this is the reason to get the DD, in my opinion. I mean, sure, probably has better video output just because it's not going to the video encoder. You know, I don't know how much better it's going to be, but just the sheer amount of wires that you can kind of clean up and keep track of. They're labeled on both sides. You really, if you're doing an Ashida from scratch, this alone, you know, because the other ends of these wires, right, SCW, whatever, WS, whatever, those are on the other parts of the Ashida boards. So it really, you don't, you know, as long as you solder this part here, okay, you really don't have to. This is basically, this rest of this is cruise control, in my opinion. So that the cruise control part of it is what makes it it's worth $100. I know it's $100 to do that, but I mean it's worth it if you're going to build an Ashida just for that peace of mind. All right, cool. So I don't know what we could switch back to. I don't know where these other wires are coming from, the other pads, but I'll look at the instructions. I guess if I had a criticism of the instructions just on the website, I mean the 4-layer text site, is if you're coming from already built Ashida land and you're trying to do this, it might be confusing as to what to do. But if you're coming from the opposite, which is like you are building an Ashida, this solves the problem of what to do, of where things go and come from. Most of it, right? I guess I don't know where 3 volts. Does that come from? Oh, that's for mode then, I'm assuming, right? So it might come from the direct drive board down the flex cable over here. If that's the case, then that I think is for mode, right? Triggering mode. But I don't know where DI and CK come from. So let's just give a quick glance to the instructions, the DDL ones. Let's just see if we can find them while we're here. Okay, yeah, here. So DI and CK here, which also match to the flex cable down below where we just were soldering. Well, it looks like you can cheat it, right? And so just take DI and CK from here and zip them over to the flex cable like that. I'm assuming that that's what we got to do. So that makes that part, you know, short little thing over there. 3.3 volts is the power for the RVL-DD. You can wire it from the 3.3 spot on the Wii. Oh, so where we were soldering mode to before can go there. But we also have the short mode to that. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Oh, does that mean we have less wires going to, so for like this part, does that mean we don't need this? If you look back over here, I know we've got these, this is how I at least did my original drive board, right? So that gets ground and 3 volts from the GC 2.0, right? So those go over to power the LCD driver. Does that mean that we don't have to do that for this, assuming that we powered the direct drive board down here somewhere? Interesting. Mode via is already shorted on the flex. Oh, okay. So really all we have to do is put 3 volts down. Okay. So I think that also, like, you know, it might be obvious to people who are already experienced at, I'm not experienced, and the only experience I have with Wii stuff is the Ashida. It might also, actually, let's go down here. Oh, I'm an idiot. Did I just not? Oh. Connect DICK and 3.3 volts from flex to Wii on all flex cables. Wow, I'm dumb. Okay, so you do need to use thick gauge wire, but that's fine. Well, so you could probably just take it from the PMS, or probably should come from the Ashida board itself. So you kind of like go over, flip over to the other side. So if I were to gripe, I suppose, the one gripe is if this note was in here also, with maybe on the Ashida side, I'm sorry, I'm pointing to this left one here. If this note was on all 3 of them, I know it does say, you know, connect DICK and 3.3 volts from flex to Wii on all flex cables. If this note was on all of them, I think that would make more sense. Just so you know, I'm not looking at this breakout flex one. Yeah, if I'm doing an Ashida. But then also, look, I know where DI and CK come from over here, but where does 3 volts come from? You know, if there's a spot here, but it sounds like you have to use a thicker cable. So I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to figure out where we're going to get 3 volts from. Possibly the PMS board, possibly the GC2, right? Because can I just do, I know it's kind of sus, but I just replace this wire, or move this wire here, so I don't need ground anymore. That can go bye-bye. But I could take this 3 volts that was going to the driver before. Actually, what happens if I just go from here to here with 3 volts? And also, is 1.8 volts generated on this board? Is that what that means? I'm kind of lost as far as how that gets populated. So, anyways, that's my open questions. Because that will drastically clean up that part. Plus, I've got the new bracket. So we've got the new bracket we've got to attach this to somewhere in here. And swap out. So next time on Dragon Ball Z, we have to unscrew a bunch of stuff. We got to disconnect all of the control board stuff up here. This stuff goes out temporarily, but this driver goes bye-bye. And it gets replaced with the new stuff. So that's good. All right. Thanks, everybody. I know this is kind of a slog. If you're not interested in Ashida stuff, you're not going to be, you're probably going to be bored out of your mind. But if you are upgrading your Ashida, or if you're trying to build a new Ashida, to be honest, I use 32 gauge wire on the 3.3 volt with a very short wire. The RVL-DD draws about 200 milliamp on the 3.3 volt. Yes, you will need to wire 1V8 from the Wii. Okay, interesting. So it sounds like we probably want to take some more wires from, or at least one more wire. We're gonna have to take the Wii off, the Wii board off. Okay, so that's good. If there's just one more, I mean, I hate to like have it like another diagram for each Wii, but this mixed with the Ashida PCB diagram documentation if you had this part cleared up and that part cleared up, as far as like, you know, even if it's opinionated, like here's where I got 3 volts from, here's where I got 1.8 points from, even if it's from the PMS, like that's probably what I'm going to do is grab it from the PMS. But that helps a lot with people figuring this one out. And I'm assuming that most people that are going to build a new Ashida are going to use the DD, so it's going to be a lot more helpful. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks G-Man for coming in and answering my questions. Thanks for. Oh, never mind. You don't need to solder with the flex. Just 3 volt. Oh, interesting. So there must be a this must be a voltage regulator somewhere on there. That's cool. Well, I'll maybe I'll hop in the Discord and I'll I guess 1.8 volts is connected by the flex. Interesting. Oh, okay. So there's a spot on the somewhere on there. All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks G-Man for helping me out. And thanks for helping to design this cool stuff and making the Ashida so cool. And yeah. So we'll be back and we're gonna finish this on Wednesday. And then we're going to move on to something else cool. I guess we're going to probably do, I don't know what people want to see next. You know, I've got a lot of cool stuff. I've got the SYF Game Gear replacement PCB, and then all the accoutrements I got. I have a Ben IPS V3 with the HDMI output, so we can test that. I have just tons of stuff. Stuff that I got from Bonzo. We have to test this, the SC2 SB2 Pro 2, and then that ETH2GC Ethernet thing. So that's cool. All right, thanks everybody. See you on Wednesday.